going on in Obamacare land. The premiums on average expected to shoot up 25% next year. There are penalties to consider. It's triple what we were seeing last year at this time. The biggest annual jump to date in this now 6-7-year-old program. Donald Trump advisor Betsy McCoy here to say, I think I told you so, because to give this young lady credit, when everyone was saying that this was the greatest thing since sliced bread, which, depending on your views on bread, might not be such a good idea. But she's saying, look, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, which is what we were saying when they were cooking this up. But now a lot depends on how this falls out. Donald Trump pounding it no less than 3 times already today. We expect a lot more. What do you think he should be pounding?
Well, first of all, contrary to what the president has said, this is not growing pains. This is not a starter house. Obamacare has a fatal flaw, which will make premiums continue to go up very fast and enrollment continue to shrink as a result. So the situation is only going to get worse. He should stress that his plan and also the Republican House plan offer Americans coverage for people with pre-existing conditions. They can keep their kids on their plan until they're 26, things that people really like, but it will repeal the fatal flaw in Obamacare so that healthy people can afford to buy health insurance again.
Yeah, but the fear that people have of a Donald Trump coming in and Republicans ripping this up is that, you know, 10, 12 million Americans lose their health insurance.
That is not going to happen.
Okay,
that's
so
exactly what I'm understanding. I've read both those plans very carefully, and they will also offer help for people who can't afford insurance.
Who will offer help?
Right, taxpayers. And most importantly, Neil, most importantly, people with pre-existing conditions will be guaranteed coverage under both the House Republican plan and the Trump plan.
But is there a turnover period where you're junking one to protect those who did get the coverage?
No, and here's what's really key. The people who are chronically ill, who need on average 10 times as much health care as healthy people, will be in a separate risk pool, and their insurance will be subsidized by everybody in America instead of the small number of people who are in the individual insurance market. That's what's making Obamacare fail. They're trying to force
make insurance go up for everybody?
No, it won't. It will be taken out of general tax revenues, not out of insurance premiums.
I don't know. That sounds weird.
And more importantly, I've talked to the Trump campaign, and they're looking at suspending these incredibly big penalties on day one. There are more
how do
people
you pay for that if you suspend the penalties? What do you?
There are more people incurring the Obamacare penalty right now than are signed up for Obamacare, and the penalty is $995 on average. It's 2.5% of your gross income, but it's a big penalty this year, over $2,000 per household. So people are looking at that penalty. They ought to realize that if a Republican is elected to the presidency, they're going to get that penalty waived right away.
All right, but you know, a lot of people are looking at this and saying, folks like you were crunching the numbers, that if it sounded too good to be true, it probably was and is. People do like coverage for pre-existing conditions. They do like, well, depending if they like their kid, keeping them on their policy a little longer. But they had to have realized when they were cooking this up that it was going to cost a lot. Did they hoodwink us into pass it? We know a few years from now there are going to be problems.
They lied. Look, they lied. They told you you could keep your doctor if you liked it. They told you you could keep your plan if you liked it.
See, I think they were counting on more young people signing up, and it didn't happen.
It was never going to happen because, as I said, chronically ill people, 5% of the population use 50% of the health care. So to try and force young, healthy people into those plans and pay the same price, we saw it in New York State. What Obamacare is like was tried in New York State the decade before and absolutely collapsed. Everyone should have learned from the New York mistake. We warned them. I was lieutenant governor of New York. I saw that happen. I warned them, and it was not going to work. It's like trying to feed a Chihuahua and a Great Dane on the same budget. The young, healthy people are not going to pay 10 times what their own health care costs are.
I see where you're going here, because like a Chihuahua is a little dog and a Great Dane is a big dog. All right, Betsy, thank you very, very much. Betsy McCoy.